Westmoreland Community Connections is a presentation of the Westmoreland Drug and Alcohol Commission.
Welcome to Westmoreland Community Connections, a look at issues and happenings on Classic Hits 107.1 WHJB. Here now is your host, Chad Amond, President and CEO of the Westmoreland County Chamber of Commerce.
Hello and welcome to Westmoreland Community Connections. I'm your host, President and CEO of the Westmoreland County Chamber of Commerce, Chad Amond. I am delighted today to have three professional women that are making an impact in our community. First is Janeen Osselborn. She is the board president of the Stoneybrook Foundation. Suzanne Ward is the vice president of the board at Stoneybrook Foundation, and relatively new to the Stoneybrook Foundation is Tonia Richardson, the new executive director. Tonia, you've been on board for about 2 or 3 weeks now?
This is starting week 3.
This is starting week 3. So congratulations and welcome to the organization. We're gonna give you a little bit of a break since you have only been on board for a couple of weeks now, and we're gonna put Janeen on the hot seat right now. But Janeen, tell us a little bit about Stoneybrook Foundation and what you do. What is the organization all about?
We are a nonprofit that provides therapeutic riding services to individuals with disabilities or serious challenges. Those disabilities cover a wide range of different health or situational scenarios that the individuals are dealing with. We have a large population of students and riders that are on the autism spectrum, and I think that is a bit of a sweet spot for us. But we cover a wide range of constituents that train with us and ride with us and that receive therapy from us.
So how did you get involved with Stoneybrook? I mean, give us a little bit, give the listeners a little bit of your background.
Sure. So I am by trade a professional IT strategy and transformation consultant. I work with many large global companies in the Pittsburgh region to help them transform their organizations. On the side, I am a member of our Scottdale Borough Council, and I sit on 2 other boards. But growing up, I was a member of 4-H and had horses and did horse shows. Found enormous therapy for myself growing up and the joy with horses. So one day I found an ad placed on volunteermatch.com, and it was looking for somebody who could do strategy for a therapeutic riding center. And I thought, this is really interesting. It's fate that I found this ad. And so I reached out to the organization and said, how can I help?
So volunteermatch.com, is that like it's like a dating service online, right? But yeah. they're looking for volunteers. That's great. I didn't even know that existed. But obviously it made the connection with you, and it seems like it's a perfect connection, right?
It was. So for me, it was nirvana. It was an opportunity for me to use my strategy skills to help an organization grow, and also to be on site at the center, work with the staff, work with the horses and with the students. So I started in a volunteer capacity, actually helping with horses and students, and worked with the ED that we had at the time, and then got to know the board, joined the board not long thereafter, and when we had a vacancy for president, was voted into that role. Mm-hmm. And so it's been, we're a little over a year now with the organization, and find the work extremely fulfilling, and am very excited with the strategies that we have in mind for this year to grow.
We also have the vice president of the board, Suzanne Ward. Suzanne, I see you on Facebook all the time. Do you live 25 hours a day or 24 hours a day?
I like to think there's a 7th day somewhere in there.
Yeah, it's like the day between Tuesday and Wednesday is the day you get everything done, right?
Somewhere. Someone just asked me this recently, and I try to not waste any minutes of the day, which I know sometimes, you'd love to sit on your couch and watch the Kardashians, eat some oodles and noodles maybe, but I try to make each moment as impactful as possible.
So give a little bit of your background to the listeners. I know that you're involved in a number of not-for-profit organizations. When we bump in, you always have hey, can we donate a basket?
Chinese
Can you buy a raffle ticket? That's okay. That's great. But give it a little bit of your background of what you do day to day.
Yeah, so I think everybody thinks I work for these organizations because I'm always out and about, but I actually have a day job. So I am the co-owner and financial advisor of Catan Ferretti Financial and the founder of Financially Leading Women. At each job, obviously, as a financial advisor, I work with clients on their day-to-day goals and needs in regards to their finances, maybe retirement, maybe they have cash sitting on the sidelines they want to invest. But also at Catan Ferretti Financial, we also have a podcast that you can download on Apple iTunes that we have regular guests every 2 weeks. We have some exciting things coming out of our company with our proprietary software. So it's a busy where Janeen can probably help us with technology. We're trying to lead the way in that. So
And you're giving away Pirates and Penguin tickets all the time. I see your partner Brad on Facebook. He's giving away tickets all the time.
Yeah, we came up with that last week for the Pirate tickets. With opening day so close, we're very excited, and hopefully somebody here in Westmoreland County wins those Pirate tickets.
I think I'm signing up too. I mean,
should.
I'm a huge baseball fan, but we're getting off track. We're talking about therapeutic riding. You're listening to Westmoreland Community Connections on Classic Hits 107.1 WHJB. We're talking with three of the leaders for the Stoneybrook Foundation. Stoneybrook is a therapeutic riding endeavor located in Acme, not far from Donegal Highlands Golf Course, right? I mean, if sometimes people in Westmoreland County say, "Well, where is that exactly?" Not too far from the Turnpike.
Brady's Restaurant is a great landmark.
Okay.
That was my favorite restaurant growing up with my family's from Mount Pleasant. So Brady's is a nice landmark for everybody.
Well, Suzanne, we talked about your background, but we didn't talk about how you got involved with the Stoneybrook Foundation.
Sure. So I got involved with Stoneybrook probably back in, I believe, 2015. Ellie Spiker, who is still a intricate part of Stoneybrook Foundation, said to me, we were part of Rotary and did some fundraising together, and said, hey, we could really use somebody with a financial background and fundraising capabilities. So she brought me to the facility. I checked it out. I also have family who have suffered or have autism and who have suffered from depression and some mental disabilities. So when I saw the riders and how they connect with the horses, even though I'm afraid to get on a horse, I see the benefit that it provides to those individuals. And so I signed up right away, and they didn't waste any time getting me on fundraising committee, which is why I asked for those duffel bags.
Oh, there you go. There you go. But Tonia is the new executive director of the Stoneybrook Foundation. Tonia, what was it that anyone, and I've known you for a while, you're passionate about not-for-profit organizations. What drew you to the Stoneybrook Foundation?
Well, my background, for 18 years, I worked in nonprofits and worked with children with developmental needs, behavior disorders and that type of thing. I ran schools for children that can't be educated in public schools because of their behaviors and their mental health needs. So even though looking for a new career, I said, I'm out of nonprofit. I'm not doing this anymore. My heart kept coming back to it. And I met Suzanne about a year ago, and she has introduced me to a lot of nonprofit organizations, and this being one of them. And it was just a natural lead-in for me.
It was like that Michael Corleone. Every time I got back out, they brought me back in,
yes,
right?
Yes, I drank the Kool-Aid.
Yeah, right. Well, so you are going to, you're relatively new, but what kind of staff does the Stoneybrook Foundation have?
Well, I will turn that over to these ladies.
Go ahead.
So we currently have on staff, we have 2 full-time Path International certified instructors, and that makes a big difference for us. Our riding instructors aren't individuals who have experience with just horses or just riding. Our Path certified riding instructors are actually registered, and we have one who has the advanced certification as well. which means that we are accredited and that not only our instructors, but our facility is accredited by PATH International, which is the organization that really controls the quality of that service offering. So we really feel like that's a competitive advantage for us. So we have 2 full-time PATH International registered instructors. We have 1 part-time who is also PATH International registered. And then we have 2 other part-time instructors. Additionally, we have a business administrator and a full-time facilities manager who helps us take care of the grounds, which are extensive. So we've been very, very fortunate in that we've received considerable foundation donations from the McCain Foundation, which was founded by John and Deborah McCain. It was actually John and Deborah McCain and their daughter, Lynn Podolinsky, who founded Stoneybrook Foundation and who really got us our start. So the property, we have, I forget the number of acres. It's extensive, 55.
55 acres.
Acres.
Wow.
The facility, we have, I believe at this point, we are at 14 horses, and that number fluctuates. The tack and equipment for all of those animals, most of that was seeded and founded by the McCains, who have really helped us to grow.
And I went on to the website before the interview and saw a number of the horses, and you have all of your staff, and you have all of the information. But one of the things that I did notice is that there are, in addition to some of the sponsors that you had mentioned, there are a lot of other local companies and entities that are sponsoring. Name some of those. Give some of those the shout out. If Suzanne is always raising the money, so she knows all of the fundraisers, right?
Yeah. So one in particular that sticks out, who's been a big help in a lot of these events, has been La Vignetta Winery, Francesca Howden. Chick-fil-A has been a phenomenal sponsor. All of our board members, typically, not that we do this on purpose, but typically a lot of our board members own companies or work for companies that donate to as well. So we've had great success with them. Also, Scott and Jen Learn have been big supporters. Anthony and Christy Bompiani have been big supporters. There have been a tremendous amount that have, really come up to the plate when we call and make that ask, which is not an easy ask. And Chad, I think you know that from being in this industry. It's not easy to ask people to get involved with a
Right.
local nonprofit and ask them to hand over hard cash. So we're very thankful to our donors. We wouldn't have a facility if it wasn't for them.
One of the things when you say local not-for-profit, it is so defined and specific. Are you serving people from outside of just Westmoreland County and the Donegal area? I mean, obviously, whenever I looked online and looked at your website, this is not a mom and pop not-for-profit. This seems very significant. And who all are you serving?
Correct. Well, if you know the area of Donegal and Acme, we're right on the border of Westmoreland County to Fayette County. So a lot of our volunteers and our riders, students that we teach, are from Fayette County as well. But we also go, and Somerset. Somerset's right next to our area too. We're kind of right in a triangle of these counties, which is amazing. But also we go out as far as Allegheny County. We do have a lot of riders or students that come in just to come to our facility because we are PATH certified, because we are accredited. So it speaks volumes, but we do support and have a lot of other surrounding counties around us too.
You're listening to Westmoreland Community Connections on Classic Hits 107.1 WHJB. We will be right back after these messages.
This is Westmoreland Community Connections on Classic Hits 107.1 WHJB. If you have a suggestion for a topic, or if your nonprofit organization would like to be featured on this program, call us during regular business hours at 724-216-1200.
Westmoreland Community Connections is a presentation of the Westmoreland Drug and Alcohol Commission.
Welcome back. You're listening to Westmoreland Community Connections on Classic Hits 107.1 WHJB. I'm your host, Chad Amond, president of the Westmoreland County Chamber of Commerce. We're talking with three of the leaders from the Stoneybrook Foundation. Suzanne Ward, Vice President of the Board, Tonia Richardson, Executive Director of the Stoneybrook Foundation, and Janeen Osselborn, who is the Board President. Janeen, before we went to break, we were talking a little bit about some of the fundraising. You guys do a lot of different events, clay shoots, and I was on the site, and you have the greatest logo. You're selling apparel. Talk about a little bit of some of the fundraising that you do with the events and the apparel things.
Well, I'll probably hand this question off to Suzanne, who is leading fundraising for our organization, but I will speak briefly to the need for that fundraising. For each lesson that we produce, it costs the organization about $135 for us to have our certified instructors and for us to be able to offer that roughly hour lesson to the student. And they get to experience grooming and preparing the horse, putting the tack on the horse, actually having the lesson, and then cooling down with the horse.
Okay.
So it costs us about $135 a student to provide that opportunity.
For each session.
For each session. We charge our students $35. And that might sound like they're getting a deal, but when you think about some of our students and the challenges that their families already face, if they take a lesson with us once a week, that's $140 a month for them as part of their cost share. So that can be prohibitive. So fundraising becomes critically important to us. It helps us to continue to offset and to actually sponsor some of those students who couldn't afford to ride with us at all, but to continue to offset that cost so that we can provide those lessons because they aren't yet covered by insurance services. So as we've got an audience listening today, especially if they are interested in advocacy, we would love to have them petition the insurance companies to cover our therapeutic riding services. There is science behind what we offer that proves enormously beneficial, both physically, emotionally, mentally, for the students, and so we ask for that help. But when it comes to fundraising, Suzanne has really been an ace for us, and is
well, I said we were going to get into the fundraising, but let's pump the brakes on that for just a second, because Janeen, you talked about the sessions. Walk the listeners through. If I have a child with autism, maybe light autism or severe autism, whatever they are on the spectrum, walk us through what a session would be like.
Absolutely. So we put a lot of thought. We have a very talented, trained staff, and we put a lot of thought into first matching and this might sound odd for some of our listeners who are not familiar with horses or horse fans. Horses have very distinct personalities, so we put a lot of thought into matching the student's personality and the student's needs with the right horse. So we're very careful with our selection of horses. We put a lot of care into making sure that we have a broad spectrum of horses that can accommodate riders with different needs of all varieties, ranging from size, ranging from disability. So the rider shows up to our facility and typically meets their instructor, and they'll go and get the horse. We have volunteers that help with this, but they'll go and get the horse from the stall and go to one of our grooming areas. We actually have our students, who range in age from 4 to 92, help us to groom, and they do what they can. Our riders,
from 4 years old to 92 years old.
4 to 92, wow. Absolutely. And they do what they can with the horses. So not every one of the riders is able to fully groom head to tail, but we take them through as much as possible. And if you think about Mr. Miyagi and the wax on, wax off, and the physicality of actually grooming, that part is very beneficial for that rider to warm up their own body as well as to reinforce that connection with the horse. We then will put the tack on the horse, the saddle, the bridle. Each rider has some unique pieces of tack that they may need for their experience. And then we have at our facility, and this is why, again, fundraising is important for us. We put in custom mounting equipment that will allow riders to actually take the wheelchair, in some cases, up a ramp and be able to mount based on a ramp. We have a variety of different blocks that are available so that we can accommodate just about anyone to get them atop a horse. And so from that point, we have an indoor arena. We can ride with our horses indoor. We do also go outdoors, but we have an indoor arena, and the lesson will commence. And that lesson is very carefully planned for each session to ensure that we're meeting that specific student's needs. So we take the business of providing these lessons and services very seriously. Each student has a very detailed lesson plan, and after each lesson, we make very detailed progress reports so that we know how to schedule for the next lesson and what they may or may not need to make sure that they get the very best health and emotional experience. So it's head to toe. It's really hoof to tail that rider really helps to prepare the horse, to tack the horse, and then to have that riding experience.
So with the inside facility, you're obviously able to operate year round.
We are.
Correct.
We are.
But what are some of the outcomes that you have seen? The Stoneybrook Foundation has been around for 10 years.
Yes.
Correct? So you have seen some very positive things that have come out for some of these kids and some of these adults.
We have seen phenomenal results. So sometimes our lesson experience is the only time that these students are leaving their home or are getting to interact. So those interactions with our staff are very important. They become like family to the riders. We have seen individuals who are on the autism spectrum really come out of their shell. They may not always relate to the people around them, but they relate to the horses. They develop that relationship with the horse that makes them feel very confident. We've seen physical improvements in the core, the strengthening of the core, that then translates in real life to all other activities.
Right.
As the center of the body becomes stronger, the reach becomes stronger, or the ability to walk becomes stronger. So it is physical and it is emotional, but we certainly, especially with our students on the autism spectrum, have seen such a difference in personality as far as how they interact with the world around them, certainly how they interact with the horses. And the bond that they develop with those horses is a phenomenal thing to witness.
Right.
And I don't think you can come to our facility and not leave with maybe a tear, but more often a smile, because it just touches your heart.
Well, let me ask that question, and maybe Suzanne, this is gonna tie back to the fundraising part. Can somebody come and tour the facility and just be able to understand what it is firsthand, what you're doing there?
Absolutely. I would recommend that they call our facility and ask for to set up a scheduled time with Tonia Richardson, our executive director, just so we make sure that when that person comes to tour, it's not maybe we can show them what a lesson looks like, but so we maybe can get the rider situated before they walk in. But absolutely, that we would love that.
And we started off this with talking about some of the events that you host. What are some of those events, and when are they coming up, and how can the community become involved?
Yep. So we have our next event will be in September 30th. It'll be our annual clay shoot. That is our biggest event, and that's what most people would consider a gala. That is our gala. So for us, we want to have everybody out, come shoot some clays. It's at Buffer Creek, which is on a beautiful 70 acres. And this year we have a morning shoot and an afternoon shoot. So for those of you that say, I don't want to get up and come, well, I created an afternoon shoot just for you. But we also have a lunch scheduled for that day. The facility is expanding, and they're adding on a bigger pavilion. So we're actually going to be able to hold everybody at lunch at the same time. So we could have a couple hundred individuals there. It would be great for networking, great to mingle. We do have some wobbles set up to practice on, Chinese auction, silent auction, of course. And then we're always looking for volunteers too. So maybe you say, hey, I don't want to shoot, or I don't want to just come for the lunch, because that's also an option, but do you need some volunteers? We're always looking. So come my way.
And if you're looking to connect with Stoneybrook Foundation, you can find them on Facebook at Stoneybrook Foundation, on the web, stoneybrookfoundation.org. The phone number is 724-613-3312, or you can send them an email at info@stoneybrookfoundation.org. One of the things that I would love to know is, how are you looking for the future? What is the vision for Stoneybrook? Are you looking to grow? Are you looking to be just stabilized? What is the vision for the future?
Oh, we are absolutely looking to grow. We have lots of plans in place. We just need funding to be able to accomplish them. But our ideal goal is to expand our facility, put onto the arena, and make it much larger, make a viewing section, stadium style, so we could have the parents and host other types of events, so we can raise money in a different way, other than just maybe relying on grants and fundraising to use the facility, but also to provide more lessons too as well. And I'm going to hand it over to Janeen, because she has been spending a lot of time on the building of the facility and adding on to it.
So we are very interested. One of the things that we don't have today is an outdoor arena. And we find that many of our students absolutely love to be outside. The horses love to be outside. So we'd like to build an outdoor arena as well. We have a beautiful facility. We have some small things that we need to improve, like paving our driveway, which is very, very long. So these are large costs. And when you think about us being nonprofit, we always have to walk that fine line between extending our services and taking on more students, but improving the facilities at the same time. To that, one of the things that is also our focus is program expansion. So today we offer therapeutic riding services. Tomorrow we'd like to also offer hippotherapy and some equine facilitated mental health services as well. We also have a couple of staff members who are interested in extending our offering to include some agricultural therapies and sessions, which I think is phenomenal when you think about possibly having different constituent groups that would like to come out and do a community garden or do some type of an agricultural service as well. So we are very, very focused on growth. We feel that we have an enormous resource that we want to be community-owned, community-engaged. And so those are the things that are our focus. And certainly the hiring of Tonia Richardson, which we are absolutely thrilled about, to really help us lead our operational staff and help us really become more prevalent and predominant in the local community to make sure that we're reaching the right people if we can help others, which is the whole goal that the McCains founded us with.
Right. Tonia, you have led successful organizations in the past. If we're sitting here or we're standing here in the studio a year from now, what would you say is going to be the number 1 and 2 goals that you have reached over the last 12 months?
Well, increasing our volunteer base as well. We need volunteers to maintain, getting more of our staff path trained and certified. And the expansion of services to the community so that we can actually start billing insurance would be some of my top ones, along with the building and the new arena and that type of thing.
Great. Ladies, Suzanne Ward, Vice President of the Board of the Stoneybrook Foundation, Janeen Osselborn, Board President of the Stoneybrook Foundation, and Tonia Richardson, the new Executive Director of Stoneybrook Foundation. Is there any last comments that you want to make for the listeners to make sure that they understand and know what Stoneybrook is all about?
Yes, I'm going to make a plug-in for this Saturday. We have a volunteer day, but we need some help building some walls and cleaning, like a spring cleaning. So if anybody's interested, please contact Tonia Richardson at our center. Also, if you are able to drop off any Chinese auction items that we could use, or silent auction items to either the facility, or you can drop it off at my office at Catan Ferretti Financial. That would be a huge help. And then, Janeen, I'll turn it over to you for last minutes.
So we ask anyone in the community area that has a passion for helping others or for horses to come out and join us. There are so many ways you can join us as a volunteer, as a donor. It is very rewarding to actually participate in the lessons as a volunteer. So if you love horses, if you love students, if you have some spare time, please donate it to us. We'd love to have you, and we welcome all.
Well, ladies, thank you for the very good work you are doing to make not just Westmoreland County a better place, but all of southwestern Pennsylvania. We tip our cap to you. The Stoneybrook Foundation can be found online at stoneybrookfoundation.org. You've been listening to the Westmoreland Community Connections on Classic Hits 107.1 WHJB. Join us next week, same time, same place, for another edition of Westmoreland Community Connections. Thanks for listening, everyone.
This has been Westmoreland Community Connections, a look at issues and happenings in and around Westmoreland County. Join us again next week on Classic Hits 107.1 WHJB.
Westmoreland Community Connections is a presentation of the Westmoreland Drug and Alcohol Commission.